Hey YouTube, back one more time. Took a little break for a while. I hadn't filmed anything in a long time, so I figured today was a perfect day. It's Father's Day, so all you dads out there, happy Father's Day. It's nice and quiet out, and I took a little ride. I wanted to find a spot that was shady, so I could shoot a little video here of the Honda. I haven't done much to it, haven't needed to. That's the beautiful part. That's primarily the reason I got a Honda. I didn't want to have to do anything to it. Got a lot of responses on some of my videos, the things I'd like to change. You know, I should have just bought a different bike if I want to change all those things. But it's like anything else. You buy it, you make it your own. You know, I don't care if it's your car, your truck. You fix things as you go. As you want upgrades, you just upgrade them, you change them, you make them new, make them yours. So, but feedback's awesome. I love it. You know, there were a handful of things I wanted to do to the bike, like the bat wing right off the bat. I still would like to, just for the stereo. I could throw a gear indicator, things I've mentioned before, a tachometer maybe. But what I noticed a lot when you see these, because I ride with a lot of people now. I've helped form a couple groups out here. One group I helped forms over 800 members now. It was a riding group, just fun. Just get out and ride, you know. Another one is a non-profit, it's a charity. Do a lot for kids, tons of kids stuff, birthdays, graduations. We do funerals. We deal with autistic kids, domestic violence. I mean, there's a lot we do. We've, in the short, almost 2 years, well, 2 years now that I've been here, the group is about 600 members. So we're going through the process right now of just making everything legit. You know, we gotta, there's a bunch of protocol. You can't just gather up a bunch of friends and ride together, start putting patches on your, you know, putting patches on you without some form of, you need the permission. You need to be structured. So that's a lot of that's going on. So that's taking a lot of my time. I haven't really done much to the bike, like I said. I haven't needed to. So, but the one thing I did do, it took a while to actually decide to do it. I wanted to right from the get-go. The bike, I have the Honda Interstate, a lot of you know. The handlebars on it, I was having a hard time with them. I mean, they were comfortable. It was great. I will give it this. It was great at low speeds because the bars were so low. They weren't quite a beach bar. They were 35 inches wide. They were really, really low. And it was comfortable, like I say, for low speeds. Maneuverability was easy. U-turns, spot on, no problem. But what I noticed was on these long runs, I mean, I'll knock out 100 to upwards of 300 miles on a Saturday. I mean, I've ridden to Wyoming for a beer. When your bars are that low, what happens is I'd find myself starting to hunch over, lean forward. My kids always thought I looked like I was mad when I was riding because I was hunched over like I was coming at somebody. But when you're hunched over like that, your back, what's happening now is all that weight, because your back is hunched over, the pain you'd automatically start to feel right in your tailbone would just kill you. After about 2 hours of riding, your tailbone had hurt. So I did some talking to some people, and they would tell you that it's basically your posture. The best way to eliminate that is to straighten your back. So get some taller bars. Nothing too crazy. I'm not going ape hangers. I don't want those. Anything above your, technically in some states, anything above your shoulders. If your hands are higher than your shoulders, typically that's illegal. In most states, at least from what I've heard. I didn't want to go that high anyways, because then your maneuverability is just shot in the ass, because it's harder to control when you know your hands are up at your ears. So it took a lot of thinking and time to, you know, figure out if I wanted to do it, because they're not cheap. You know, these bars, you see these people put these bars on the bikes and they can run, unless you do the work yourself, between bars, cables, risers, a guy can blow $1,000. I've known people spend $1,500 on bars. So, but back to my point here real quick with something I was thinking about doing, the bat wing. What I've noticed when I ride with a lot of these people that have bat wings or any form of fairing, if they have a goatee at all, that fairing windshield just causes that thing to rise out in front of you, start fluttering around, you get to where you're going and you got this mess. I haven't had a windshield on my bike in probably 2 years, and I love it. The wind just hits nice. I don't mind the wind on the chest, the face, doesn't bother me. Bugs, dust, yeah, it gets to be a pain in the ass, but you deal with it. Glasses, face mask, little turtle fur face cover thing keeps a lot of that off your face, so I don't mind it. But that's the one drawback I'm having with wanting to throw a fairing on here, is just what it does to your goatee. It just looks funny. It cracks me up, sorry. But that will probably come next. I'm trying to see windshield heights, if you can cut it down so I don't have to ponytail this up, or it's kind of silly, but something I look at. I ride with a lot of people, groups of 300-400 riders at a time. I still do a lot of road guard work. I do a lot of the blocking. I actually run that part of the organization I'm in, as well as security. But I'm going to show you what I did to the bike. Some of you will like it, some of you won't. I will explain a little bit more on why I did. A lot of it was posture. I was just having a hard time getting comfortable. Hold on. Lower back had started to hurt bad. I knew I didn't want to go too tall, but I had to get the pain off my back, tailbone, because it would go numb after a couple hours. Now, granted, you're stopping every 2 hours for fuel anyways, because I get 145 out of a tank. Here, you roll at 80 miles an hour pretty much all the time. If you're not prepared to do 80 on the freeway here, just take the back roads, ride somewhere else. So with the rides, the long distance, I just knew it was a matter of time before I had to do this. So I will show you what I did. There was a little accident when getting this done. I'll show you that too, and I'll explain what it is. But let's take a look at what it is I got going on here. Still 2015 Honda Interstate. Great bike. I've got 30,000 miles on it, damn near. Runs like a top. Not an issue. Not a problem at all. This happened. This is what I'll show you. The accident that happened when I was getting my bars replaced. One of the guys at the shop bumped into my headlight and cracked it. I was a little bummed because the mount is plastic, so it cracked. I'm riding down the street with a buddy. He tells me to pull over quick because my whole bucket was hanging down over here. I had a big ride to go on for a kid. Had another ride the next morning for a group. Had to be on it. Being co-founder of the organization, when you get an invite to go on a ride, you have to go, especially when it comes from a certain group of people I will not name. You have to go. So here I am on the side of the road, a couple buddies of mine, and we're trying to figure out how to mount my headlight. So we took some bungees, wrapped them around my risers, forks, hold it in place. Now the shop is going to replace the entire bucket for me, just waiting for it to get delivered. So this is not going to hang on for a while. This will be gone in probably a couple days. So, but here she is with the new bars. They look a lot taller. They are. They measure, in all honesty, let's see, I'll get you a couple views. They measure from the bottom right here to the bottom right here, they measure 17. If you measure up to here, they're 18. Paperwork says they're 17 by 1 inch. So, they're, I can't remember the name of the bar. They're not a Harley bar, because there are a couple different, there were some problems in setting these bars up. And I'll run through some of that with you guys real quick. The biggest problem, this bike, the bars are welded to your risers for your stock ones. So you can't just undo your risers and throw new bars on. You have to take them completely off of your tree and start from scratch. Now the issue that we ran into, the holes that go into your tree from your risers, your tree needed to be honed out so the bolts can fit, because Honda uses a smaller bolt to go through the hole in your tree. So that had to be honed out. The other issue is for a one piece, I had to go with a two-piece riser setup, because the distance apart from the bolt holes isn't going to line up with any Harley. So you're going to have to go individual, get them seated in there. Then you have another issue with how wide your tree is. Your tree is really wide on these bikes. So trying to find a bar where the knurling that holds your risers to your bars, the knurling on the bar, the graded looking, some of you know exactly what I'm talking about, but some don't. An odd pattern on the bars so your risers can actually grip onto it and hold it in place so they don't move on you. Those had to be set at a certain distance. Well, not a lot of bars do that, because most of your bike's risers aren't that far apart. So that was an issue. The other issue we had was trying to find bars that would go out to the edge of your tree, just for aesthetics, basically. That was hard to find. And the other issue we had to find was trying to find a 1-inch bar to fit all of your cluster, your levers, your gauges, I mean your brake, all that. This is 1 inch. So the issue was width for knurling, width for your tree, which we couldn't find. We couldn't get close because of the knurling and the diameter of the bar. So we had to shorten it down a bit. Doesn't line up perfect. It's a couple inches off, but it's fine. We took it from a 35-inch wide bar down to a 31 and a half, I believe, is the distance now from grip tip to grip tip. Yeah, so that was some of the issues we had. Then we ran into how tall for the risers. Because of the rake of this bike, how long it is, how low it sits, the size of that tank, pullback was an issue. We ended up going, at first we got a 2-inch riser, put that on because we measured it, thought that would clear. Don't know why that happened. It did not clear at all. Just looking at it, you could almost tell 2 inches is not enough to clear that. So we ended up going to a 4-inch. Once we got the 4-inch on there, it lined up nice. The bars fit. They're actually, when I sit on the bike, I can't show you because I have no one here to hold this for me, but sitting on it, I mean, my hands are, they're right about shoulder height, which is perfect. Maybe even just a tick bit below my shoulders, which is great, but it helps sit you straight up and down. So your back, no more hunched over. I can lean into it if I want, or I can lean back. Total comfortable. I mean, the length of the bike in itself, how low the seat is, the amount of rake you have, size of the tank, all that comes into play when you're looking at bars. Like I said, they're 17-inch. I thought they were crazy tall when I first saw them, but actually sitting on it, it's the perfect height. I did have to adjust my mirrors. They just weren't fitting right, so I just loosened it up, moved this forward, tightened it down. I did move my levers to where they're in the middle of your knuckles. Right there, about where my letters are, is where you want them. That way they're easy to reach. Because with the bars before, when they put them on here, they were rolled a little bit forward, so it was harder to reach. You actually had to get off and go for a full reach to get them. So I adjusted them to where they should be, which is right between, well, pretty much that first set of knuckles, that first set you have right there where my letters are. That's typically where you want your levers, which is easy. You just loosen up a couple bolts, rotate them, which actually made it easier to adjust the mirrors, because now they're higher, they only rotate so far, so a little bit of work involved. Other than that, I put my phone mount right there. Easy to reach when I'm riding. I don't like to play with my phone when I'm riding, but for GPS, especially, you know, you're leading a group of 300 or 400 bikes, you want your map close. I did rig up my cigarette lighter. It has a 2-port USB. The cigarette lighter fits right in here, pops in and out. I'm gonna get a little wallet or a little pocket keychain thing to hold it in place, so I can pull it out and use it while I'm riding and put it back without it falling off. But it worked out nice because it actually fits right between my risers. And it was probably the best place to put it. I thought about putting it up here, but that would just look tacky as fuck. And I didn't want all the wires wrapped around the bars. So I tried to keep it as clean as possible. Other than that, though, let me check the miles on this real quick here. I got it. Some of you know I got it with 30 miles on it. Where am I at here? I'm at 28. All right, yeah, I'm almost 30. So, I do a lot of riding out here. Other than that, she's holding up great. I haven't had any issues at all. I did go ahead and rig up some spotlights on it again. I had them on the first bike. It was a 2-part deal. I got the spotlights. They were just your Amazon little $20, but they're brighter than hell. I love them. And then for the mounts, I ended up on a Jeep site, and they come with a bunch of different sized rubber grommets inside there that go around the bar, so you can fit them on all sorts of different size bars. The issue I had at first was when they put them on, they were upside down. They were the other way, but they were sitting up here. My issue was my brake lever would hit them, so they were shoved all the way up against this, which limits how far it's going to go past your front fork. So I decided, I just took the bar out, little bolt, took a little spacer off, flipped it upside down, put it back on, so now they hang low. I do have to watch though for my corners. I just did this yesterday, so I'm probably gonna wiggle them around a little more so I don't scrape, because they are a little bit higher than my bell, but if you look at my bell, I've hit it pretty hard a couple times, because the lean on this bike is nice. It does lean well, but I want a little more visibility, and you just want to be seen. You want other people to see you, so if they can see you coming down the street with those bright lights, usually catches their attention, slows them down. They're wondering what the hell that is with lights that low. So but yeah, there's my my new bars. Threw them on out the door between the bars, my LED lights. I had to put a new brain for my underglow. The computer quit responding. It froze up or something, so I had to replace that. And new cables. Now I will give you a little piece of advice on your cables. You can, yes, you can order brand new cables for whatever length you want, but they're going to be expensive. I know guys out here that have spent $400 or $500 just on cables. So when you take a $700 set of bars, I mean, some of these bars are unbelievably expensive, but you tack on $500 set of cables, you know, it gets nuts. But what you can find is a lot of your shops, or motorcycle shops, there's one out here in particular that will just add on to your cable. They remove the coating, they go ahead and they splice in for the additional however many inches you need to compensate. They put a new coating on it, this black coating, and you're done. They don't do steel braid, so if I wanted steel braided, I would have had to probably just buy a new set, but I figured it'd be a little cheaper, a little quicker to just have them added on. I had to make a new brake cable, or new brake line, so the guy custom made that for me, little banjo bolt. But other than that, it went pretty easy. It took a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but he's really busy, so I give him that much. But yeah, they fit nice, they ride great. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, now you get to sit up straight, they ride nice, and it looks good with the rake and the lean of the bike, how it's raked out, how long it is. It's a nice look. So, all right, I didn't want to shoot this too long. I just wanted a little update on what I've done. So, I will do more. I want to swap out the exhaust. That'll be next. But I want to do the right kind. I got a dyno jet for it. So once I do the exhaust, I can switch out and do the air cleaner, put a tune, and just go from there. Like I said, I will look at the bat wing. I'm really up in the air about it though, just with the wind factor and the goatee thing, just the wind, the way it hits it. I mean, you get this going, you know, and that's just, you get to where you are and your goatee's just be that guy that carries a comb around all the time. But no, this is first step. I wanted to get these bars done. So there will be more coming, but I just wanted to reach back out, shoot another video of what I did. It's been a while. So yeah, I think I'll do it. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my day. Hope you guys do too. Be safe out there, have fun, and let's just it's crazy time right now, so let's just try and shut up, relax, and not kill each other, you know, like I always say. Play nice. Later.